So, are you concerned about your baby spitting up and wondering if it's an issue or not? Well, we are going to talk about that today. I'm Dr. Obidi of the Newborn Prep Academy, and I absolutely love talking about all things newborn. And today we are going to talk about when it becomes an issue with your baby spitting up. So spitting up in and of itself, which is just your baby bringing up milk from the stomach into the esophagus, or into the mouth, is actually quite a common occurrence in newborns and may not necessarily mean there's anything wrong. In fact, there was one study that showed that as much as 50% of newborns, so that's half of newborns, will spit up, especially by 3 months of age. Now, there are times when this becomes a problem because not only is milk just coming up from the stomach into the esophagus, but also it's bringing up stomach acid as well. And that's where you become what we end up calling gastroesophageal reflux disease, or GERD. Because it's not just a reflux anymore, but it's actually some disease process going on where there's inflammation of the esophagus and just more complications from that. Now, how do you know if your baby's spit up is an issue or not? Well, babies, if there's no issue, if it's just milk contents coming up, usually are just very relaxed when it's happening. They don't seem bothered by it. They may even be what seems like a lot of milk coming up, but it just doesn't seem bothered. They're called happy spit up babies, right? But these are the signs you need to look for that may point to something being wrong. If your baby is very uncomfortable and crying all the time when it happens, if they're arching their back when that happens, that could be an issue. They're not putting on weight, that could be an issue. And if this is just happening where there's very forceful vomiting, or what is called projectile vomiting, that could be an issue. And in fact, if your baby after every feed is having this real projectile vomiting where it's forcefully coming out and they're extremely uncomfortable, you should get medical attention right away, because sometimes that may not even just be reflux, but maybe some sign of an intestinal GI obstruction. Something called pyloric stenosis typically happens about 1 month of age, which is where the exit of the stomach into the duodenum, where there is a constriction in the stomach in that area, and so contents are not able to pass through and so come right back up, and usually very forcefully. So those are signs that you should seek medical attention right away. Now, some things you can do to help with reflux is keeping the baby upright or at a 45-degree angle for about 30 minutes or so, 45 minutes after feeding. You can even do that by just putting them on your shoulder and comforting them that way. That's helpful. If you lie down a baby who has reflux right after feeding, you lie them back down, that can be an issue and just cause more refluxing. The other thing you can do is burp your baby frequently. So maybe after every ounce and a half, you can burp them and try and get some of that extra gas out. That can be helpful in reducing reflux in some cases. And then the other cases where you could do special formulas if your baby is formula fed, and your pediatrician can help with that in choosing an appropriate formula. Other times it may be a cow's milk allergy that's going on, or even a soy milk allergy, and so they can help with selection of formulas if you're formula feeding. If you're breastfeeding, it becomes a little bit more challenging, and we certainly want to encourage breastfeeding. And so usually you could try eliminating dairy from your diet to see if it helps. Sometimes that may be helpful, not necessarily all the time. And also your pediatrician can help determine if your baby will benefit from some medication, acid reflux medication or acid reducing medications, to see if that helps your baby's symptoms. So I hope that was helpful. Again, reflux in and of itself, just your baby bringing up milk products, is not necessarily an issue. And usually those symptoms tend to get better as your baby gets older. Once they pass 6 months and 9 months and closer to a year, those symptoms tend to get better. Even with actual reflux disease, those also get better as your baby gets older. Now, again, I do want to encourage you to seek medical attention if you're concerned at all in any way about your baby's reflux issues. And also want to mention that you do want to still lay your baby on their back to sleep even if they have reflux, it's still the safer way for them to sleep. I know that sounds sort of anti intuitive, I guess is the right word. Doesn't seem to make sense to us, because when we lay down, we feel like if we vomit and we lay down, that almost feels like you're going to choke on your vomit, right? But the way a baby's windpipe is shaped and the way their esophagus is shaped, it's actually safer for them to lie on their back even if they're vomiting, because that has a way of just coming out without going back into the windpipe. Okay, I hope that helped. If you have any questions, wherever you're watching this, you can send me a message and I will be more than happy to respond. And you can go ahead and check out newbornprepacademy.com. Lots of information there that will be helpful to you. And there's also the baby essentials prep course that you can also purchase. Has lots of information to help you prepare to receive your newborn or to care for a newly delivered baby. All right, there you go. Take care, and I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.